Good morning, Flosstube. Welcome back. My name is Stuart, and the channel is Stuart's and Stitches here on Flosstube. This is number 41 on Sunday, the 14th of September 2025. Midway through September already. Nearly 3/4 of this year has gone. Where? I ask, where? I wake up, I get up in the morning, and it can be 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I've barely blinked. The days are just flying past. It's lovely being in the bear months, of my favourite time of the year and all that, as you will know. Temperatures are dropping, as we will see in the temperature stitching. Things are come down a wee bit lower, which is good. Well, from my perspective anyway. Yes, I like being warm, but I love this time of year as its seasons are turning and the colours are changing and all that good stuff. It's reasonably bright out today, looking out the windows here that are behind where you're sitting. So it bodes well at the moment. It's been wet the past couple. Yesterday afternoon was wet. I was in Edinburgh yesterday afternoon with a friend. We were going out for dinner and walked down to the station in the pouring rain. And Carl doesn't drive, so of course he couldn't drive us down. It's only a 5-minute walk, but that was wet when I got to the station. No right. However, it was fine. The time we came out of the train in Edinburgh and meandered away up into George Street and into the Dome for a wee drinky poo, it was all good. Lovely night last night. I thoroughly enjoyed ourselves. So it was good. Anyway, we digress. This is a stitching channel, not a Stuart's Outings channel. So, welcome everyone. It's lovely to be here again. We chat about what I've been stitching the past week and what I might be stitching the coming week and all things related there too. If you're new, welcome aboard. I hope you continue to enjoy what I'm sharing with you. It's good to have you here. My existing people who've followed me faithfully Sunday by Sunday, thank you so much. It means such a lot to know that you're enjoying it and you turn up and spend some of your time with me. Although there are so many other Flosstube channels out there, you've chosen to spend some time with me and I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much. And to any new viewers, welcome aboard. Here we talk about stitching primarily, sometimes a bit of knitting and crochet, maybe a bit of what I've been reading and watching. Primarily today it's going to be stitching. I've got some knitting on the go, but I'm not sure. I won't show you that just yet because I'm halfway through a rather complicated row. When I say complicated, there's a ton of repeats in it, so it's fine. And if I want to stop, I can do it because I can pick it up easily enough. It's just each repeat has a cable involved, so I take my time in that. But because I'm midway through it, I'm not going to disturb it for fear of things dropping off my needles. That would not be razzling any berries. Not at all. So yes, we're just doing stitching today, but that was what all that boiled down to. It's good to hear from you out with the channel, so if, as in out with the videos, your comments are great. Please do drop a comment below as usual. Let me know what you're working on, whatever craft you are doing as you watch me. It's always interesting to hear what people are up to. As always, it very often says he's scurrying to Google and Etsy and all these other stores just to have a look at something I've not heard of before, and quite a few things have ended up in baskets or on wish lists now for future purchase, so thank you for that. Yes, the stash enablement is real in this world. So please do leave comments. There's other ways of getting in touch with me as well. If you want, you can get me through Instagram and email. Stuarts and Stitches or stuartsandstitches@gmail.com. These will be linked in the description box below. And I think that's... Oh no, one more thing. A couple of weeks ago we did some giveaways. I'm just seeing there's a DPD van going past. Some van went past. My nose is bothering me. Talk about neighbourhood watch. Yes. A couple of weeks ago I did a giveaway and announced the results of that giveaway last Sunday. So one has already been claimed and that was posted out yesterday, so that's winging its way to its new owner, so thank you for getting in touch with me on that. The other one, the winner of that hasn't got in touch with me yet, so I'll give another week on it, and if I don't hear from you by next Saturday, I'll do a respin and we'll get somebody else for it. So which is it and who is it? Let me have a look. As he hauls things out. So this was for Little House Needleworks, the bookshelf. Lovely, lovely chart. And the winner in that was Susan Dell 3280, or Susan Dell 13280. That's that one there. Susan, if you can get in touch with me, please, either over Instagram or email, and if you can let me have your address, I'll get that posted out to you. As I say, if I don't hear from you by next Saturday, well, I'll do a respin and see who else is going to get it. I've still got the data for it, so alright. And so far as I'll just put the video link back into the YouTube random comment picker. Right, so that's the thing, that's all the admin done, so that's all good. So moving on to whips. So what has Stuart been working on this week? Well, as I often say, I'm so pleased you asked, because it delights me to tell you. The temperature stitching first off, as usual. So my temperature stitching is, oh god, my eyes are doing funny things this morning. Ooh. There we go. But nothing to do with the bottles of wine we drank yesterday at all. No, nothing at all. Anyway, temperature stitching. My temperature stitching is, I have 10 projects assigned 0 to 9. I look at the BBC weather app in the morning when I get up, or I'll sit down to my first stitchy session of the day, and see what the high is of that day, and look at the last digit of that high temperature, because if we're in double digits, and that then tells me what piece it is. So for example, 7, we're a 17 this week, so 7 for me is Quilting Bee from the Blue Flower, which you will see today, of course, because it was last Monday that came out to play. And that's all I do for my temperature stitching. I stitch for either an hour a day or 100 stitches a day if I'm counting it. An hour a day would generally give me about 100 if it's one I'm not counting. And I will stitch it until I feel it's time to rotate it out. So I'll either come to a logical stopping point, or I'll finish it, or I'll think, okay, I've had enough, it's time for it to go. Each will get a minimum, at least, of 10 times round. But the current stack at the moment are all, apart from one which was put in last week for to replace Catching Rays, so the Aurora Cabin, which never came out yet, sadly. Excuse me, I'm looking forward to that one coming. They've all been in for a while, so which tells you I'm enjoying working on them. So without further ado, let's start working our way through them. There's quite a few this week with a reasonable variety of temperatures. So first one up is Scary Sampler, which I know is a favourite, because some of you have also told me you've bought it now after seeing me working on it, which is lovely to hear. I don't mind doing any enabling for my friends here at all. So the Scary Sampler, let's bring out the bits and pieces to share with you. You'd think I'd have them all out organised, but oh my god, no. I can just see the disaster that happened if I had all these sitting out ready just to lift and show you. I mean, the mess is bad enough, and that's before I even start. Right, Scary Sampler. This was released at market some years ago now, about 2 or 3 years ago, I think. It's by Heartstring Samplery, our friend Beth Twist. And that's what it's going to look like. Lots of references to popular culture, really. I've mentioned them all before, so I'm just looking. They're all listed in the back here, so I'm just looking. So you've got Bleak House by Charles Dickens, which is a quote which says, "I will die here where I have walked, and I will walk here though I am in my grave." Cheerful stuff, isn't it? They always do pick very cheerful things in the samplers. References to Jane Eyre, that's the house, which is Thornfield Hall. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams, which is number 42 that appears on it somewhere. I'm not quite sure where, actually. I don't know. I do know there is a 42 on it, but off the top of my head I can't see where it is. That's odd. I can usually spot these things. Ah, well. Anyway, you get the gist. So I'm stitching this on my favourite wonderfully named fabric, a 36 count Zweigart Edinburgh linen from XG Designs called Rustic Drab. It's so inspiring, it just draws you to it, it really does. It's lovely fabric though. Don't get me wrong, it is lovely fabric. I like XG Designs fabric. It is really nice. These are the threads for the project. There's a nice array of colours going on there. Not all of which have been used yet. And as usual, I've started at the bottom. Oh, I've got those threads here. I need to take the scissors to that. Sorry, looking at my bag. This is the bag I made from just odds and sods of fabric left over once upon a time. And I now have a huge bin almost of scraps that I need to cut into 2.5-inch strips, sew together and turn into bags. But that was one of them I did. That's quite an effective way of using them up. I quite like it. Just pick them at random. If the colours all work, fine. If they don't, even better. Nothing like a clashing bag. So, where are we? Here we are. Right, let's get this wrangled up. So see, this is in 36 count. I'm stitching at 1/2 using the called for threads I've just shown you. Let me get the threads somewhere out the way. Right, what did we work on this week? I think we were cheerfully doing the coffin. So here we are. There we go. Oh my, that's coming on well on there. So I've nearly finished the coffin, as you can see. Now I just need to fill in the skeleton. Well, look, I think I actually need to fill the skeleton, but I will do because it's charted as such. It's quite clearly defined. Then once that's done, oh, wait a minute, we're losing the line. Ah, there we go. I was thinking that skeleton, that's looking a bit foreshortened, but because it's folded or draping wrongly. Then once we finish that, we'll go back onto the green for the grass and bring the green along. And just work along all that bit expands. That green goes, I think the green goes along most of the bottom of the chart. It's a lot of full coverage in this. So if you're thinking of buying it, just be aware that the bottom half of the chart is fairly full on for full coverage. It's good fun. I do like it. I always enjoy stitching that, and I like when it comes up to be worked on. So that one is for number 8. So we're in 18 this week. I was saying the temperatures were cooler, but not at the start of the week. It was towards the middle of the week and to the end of the week they dropped. I'm sitting here in my t-shirt and I'm thinking, I could do with something over my arms. However, we're fine at the moment. We'll keep going. So that was Scary Sampler. That got 116 stitches in it. So next up we have the Quilting Bee. I don't have my picture to hand for that because it's just sitting in its Q-snap. Rather squintly actually. I really should take this out and straighten it when I look at it. However, so this has been stitched in a 40 count piece of linen. I'm not quite sure. I got the linen from Peakside Needleworks here in the UK, so at Peakside. And I'm using the called for threads for this, which I have to hand somewhere. Oh, there, here's where I put them. This is a mixture of classic colourworks and gentle arts. So that's the colours there. Nice wee selection. It's a lovely, lovely piece. I do like it. So, here's where we are in that one. So this week I was filled in the kind of veins on the wing. I'm not quite sure what you call them, but we'll say veins. And then I started filling the wing itself. So next time this comes up, I should get all that filled in. And then we can start finishing this motif up here. And then we'll just work along and bring it in line with what's going on at the bottom. So I'm glad this is back out again. I do enjoy working on it. I don't think I could sit down for the likes of the wing there and just sit and concentrate on that wing if this was just like coming out as one of my daily rotations. But because it's in temperature stitching, I'm only doing 100 at a time, it makes it much more achievable for a piece like this for me. So there we are. So as I say, it's 40 count, and again 1/2 using the called for threads. A lovely design, I do like it. And that's from the Blue Flower, so Janine McGowan is the designer there. I've also got the Sleeping Bee lurking somewhere in my shelf. I can picture the sleeve it's in. I've got it sitting in, but I cannot picture quite where it's sitting in my head. All I know is it's on that shelf somewhere. Right, now these threads can go up there because I know that's what they belong with. And that can go down there. Okay, next up we have Lavender and Lace. So this was yesterday. We had a 13 as a high yesterday. Told you the temperatures were dropping. Yeah, we had a 13. And it was wet in the afternoon. Did I mention it was wet? Right, Blue Moon Angel. This is a well-known one. It was an oldie. What's that in the back? Oh, I got that. Well, that was in the good old days, years ago, when I bought this off. I think it must have been off eBay. It was either eBay or so. I got it sent to my work because before I met Carl, so during the day there was nobody in the flats I lived in. Well, there was nobody in my flat that I lived in because I lived with myself. And so I used to get things like this sent to my work. It's much easier than trying to get to the post office and pick it up. So we've got a bit of glare going on. There we go. That's what it's going to look like. So this came out yesterday, so that's all I brought that part out for. That'll be back in its plastic folder. Charming little folder there. I should put that to someone else now. This was long before I started making project bags. And what does it look like? Oh, you just see what it looks like. Maybe more accurately, what does it, where has Stuart reached on it? So let me take the chart out of the way. We don't really want to see the chart, do we? Right. Move you up there. So, this has been stitched on a piece of 32 count linen that came in the kit. Is it linen or even weave? I think it's linen. And this is on a old Elbessi frame before I got my scroll rods. So let me stand up, it's easier that way, I can then see what you're seeing. Aye, there we go. So, I worked down here, and I was working along, just filling in the moon here and bringing it up. That's what I was doing. And I'm just using the called for thread, so it's all DMC. It's a lovely piece. I've always liked it. I liked it so much I've not finished it yet. So I'm very pleased at this. I'll bring in letting you see where I was working. Like I said, it was just along here. Filling in the kind of blues and greens and the moon. I'm enjoying working in this. I do like Lavender and Lace. I don't know if I've told you, one day I might show you the piece as well. It's framed and sitting in the downstairs lav. My first ever big project, which was my second ever stitching project, was Lavender and Lace's Angel of Light. So it's the one just bearing a candle and flying over a village. It's a kind of wintry style. Look at the village looking. It's only an impression at the bottom of it, of the pieces of the village. The main focus is, of course, the angel, and she's beautiful. I can still remember working on her when I lived in Dumfries. It's a lovely, lovely piece. So that's framed. That used to live in my mother's house. Well, I lived in my house then when I went away for a while. It went into my mum's house, and then when I came back, she kept it, quite rightly so. And then sadly, when she passed away, it came back to me, and it now hangs in our downstairs lav, as I said. Right, let me just put this away. Oh well, no, not. I need to put the chart thing back on it, or I'll lose that. The chaos that I live in this house drives Carl mad. Well, doesn't he really? He just rolls his eyes and moves on. As only a husband can. Right. We're talking of which, thank you to all those of you who sent in questions for Carl so far. I have saved them away. For those of you unsure what I'm talking about, Carl is my beloved husband of 15 years. Who tends to be quite camera shy. He tends to be quite shy in general, but certainly camera shy. However, he has indicated he would do a Flosstube extra with me as a Q&A of get to know your husband style thing. So I asked last week for you to submit any questions you might want for that. We won't film it probably till late November, early December, but it's always good to have preparation. Preparation is everything, as I remember from my work days. So any questions you might want to fire at him, please do. If you can send them to me via email, I can then collate them, or Instagram. The danger of putting them into the comments here is if I don't note it down at that point, then it's not lost forever, but I'll forget to go back to the video to look for them. So it's easier if you can just send me them in some form or fashion. That would be great if there's something you're dying to know. And to those of you who have done so far, thank you. Anyway, right, what was that we just looked at? Oh, Blue Moon Angel. Next up. It's nutty stitching time again. It's that weather. The temperature's dropping sufficiently we can get to Tommy Finland. So Tommy Finland comes out when it's a 4, and he came out twice this week. He came out on Thursday and Friday. That's when the temperature started dropping. I'm stitching this in a piece of 28 count 2/2 full cross, and this is part of a series called Shipwreck, which I finished one piece. These were released by a company in Australia called Perler, which no longer exists, sadly. So I think if you're looking for these now, it's on the secondary market. As I think they're very hard to find. I was lucky I managed to get them when they came out. So it's a series of artwork by Tom of Finland that they charted, and it follows the story of a shipwrecked sailor who lands on a desert island, and the resident there and the sailor gradually get to know each other. quite rapid. Well, it's not even gradual, actually, it's quite rapidly get to know each other, as you will see. Anyway, we have a strategically placed owl who's looking rather quizzical today. Here we are. So we're coming on that button. Just to finish the bottom half of the piece, I photocopied the chart to make work as a working copy, and I've basically folded it in half. So I'm just working up the bottom half now, and we're getting there with that. So I'll soon be able to start going up into the top half. So there we are. So this week I finished all over here. Really, I just kind of filled in all of this along here. Don't want to knock him off. I've done that, I think, the previous week. So I just filling in the gaps here, and I'll do the same along here, and then we'll just start going up. I mean, for a monochromed limited palette, it's only, what, about 7 colours. It is very, very good. There's a trailing thread. Well, there we go. The definition is tremendous. I mean, if you look at this, you can see his biceps, his arm, this one lying down, his legs. As you can see the face coming in now. It's very, very good. And it's great fun to stitch. Well, apart from that, there's no colour, but other than that, I do like it. So keep going in that. So that came out twice. What else is there? Quilting Bee was out twice. And then last Sunday we had Santa's House. I haven't looked today to see what today's stitching is. Because I generally look at what I'm looking at the moment for recording, I can't sort of check and see what it is at the moment. Right, we've got a stray needle floating around in this. So what did I work on in Santa's House? Oh yes, I started in the sleigh last Sunday. So there's the chart, or the picture of the design. And we'll stand up again so as I can see what you're seeing. Right, there we go. And here's where I am. So I was doing this thing here. The sleigh, Santa's sleigh. And there's what it's all looking like at the moment. So I'm enjoying this. We're gradually approaching, the finishing line for this one is beginning to creep over the horizon now. So that's good. Right, so that was Santa's House by Cottage Garden Samplings. I keep wanting to say Carriage House, but it's not what it is. Cottage Garden Samplings. So I'll put that back in its place, which is kind of under my desk in front of me. Right. So that was the temperature stitching for the week, so that was good progress. I actually managed to do temperature stitching on Thursday this week as well. I'm not quite sure how I angled that actually, because nothing changed on Thursday. It was still a busy day, but I managed to squeeze some time in for my temperature stitching, so that was good. My other regular daily piece at the moment is in support of Andrew, the runner stitcher, and his marathon training schedule. I'll link his video below where he talks about that. Andrew was training for the Sydney Marathon, but then life events overtook him when he was moving house, so that had to get canned. However, he had done all the training for it, so there's no point in losing out on all that hard work. So he's now going to do the New York Marathon in November, so his training schedule continues. And I am continuing to support through my stitching on his Whip into Shape challenge, which is you pick a whip that you want to whip into shape. Maybe it's something you had sitting for a while, or something you want to work on anyway, but instead throw a few more stitches at it. And the premise is you would do 10 stitches for every mile he runs in his training that he posts up in his spreadsheet every day. Or however else you want to do it, but that's one of the ways he's suggesting. Another way would be to stitch for the amount of time each day that it takes him to do his training. So if it's a 3 miler in half an hour or something like that, then you stitch for either 30 stitches or 30 minutes or some such. What I do is there's 100 stitches a day roughly for every day that Andrew trains. He has usually it's 2 or 3 rest days a week as well, so it's quite good. You get a wee break, him physically and us for our stitching. So Frost and Velvet I'm working on for mine, which is a full coverage from Stitches So Beautiful, and it's a lovely Santa. Oh, there's Mickey making a guest appearance. There he is. Isn't he lovely? And I am, as usual, this will come as no surprise, down in that bottom left corner there, where his hand is, holding his, I was going to say his crook, it's not much of a crook, is it? Anyway, there we go. So as I say, this bump stitch is so beautiful. It's view PDF. Artwork is by Mystic Vision Gallery. It's max size and colour, so it's 600 by 600, and it uses 176 colours. So it's got a lot going on in there. And I am at 2,308 stitches out of 360,000, giving me a grand progress total of 0.64%. Isn't that good? I think it is. Get to 1% yet. So, I'm stitching this on 28 count gridded fabric 1/1 using CXC threads. And I'm doing this cross country, as you will see. There's stitches here, there, and everywhere. And I'm kind of doing this cross country, but starting along the very bottom row. And then as I get to the end of the page, I'll then see where else, if I've got thread left in my needle, I'll see where else in that page I can throw that thread into. That's basically what I do. And here's where we are. So I'm just about finished this bottom line now. It's just about all filled in. And just gradually we'll just work up to get the page, which will take me to about there, I think it is. Somewhere about there. And over here is into the second page along, and there's some in the next page up as well. But this is all in the first page I'm working on here. So it's coming on not bad at all. I'm very happy with it. And I don't know why the light keeps feeding it, going in and out like that. I don't understand that, but there we are. So that gets stitched on just about every day, depending on Andrew's training schedule. Right, so that's kind of the daily regular stitching for the week. So there's temperature stitching in the frost and velvet. I've worked on a couple of other projects as well, over and above that. So you'll remember last week I started Hannah Atwater from Michelle at Mama Loves You GB. And let me just get the page out to show you. There. It's this one here. I'm working down in the border along here. So there we are, it's a nice sampler. From Hannah Atwater 1832. It was produced for sample September 2024, so last year at the attic. Which I think was one of the last events Miss Jean Lee attended before she passed on. So the attendees there were very fortunate that they got to spend some time not only with the designers but also with Miss Jean Lee of the attic as well. So, where did we get to? Well, I got out quite well. Where's the threads? I've lost the threads. That's not them. This must be the... Alright. So I did a conversion to Cosmo threads because Carl bought me a whole pile of Cosmo threads this year at Christmas, and well, last year for Christmas and this year for my birthday. So these are they. You can see I've been working. They're all a bit kind of tangled. They need combed through. One of my favourite things. I don't quite like running your hand through your threads. When you've no hair, you've got to run your hand through something. So there we are. And I'm using another piece of Extra Designs fabric. This one's in 46, yes, 46 count. You heard it here. 46 count marbled pointer. I'm stitching this 1/2. I think I said 1/1 last week by mistake. 1/1 of 46 count. Do I look mad? Is my name Kaylee? Kaylee Cross Stitch stitches on phenomenally high counts of fabric 1/1. The girl must have incredible eyesight. So, we got quite a lot done in this last week. A big piece of fabric. She's a big lassie, if one is permitted to say such a thing in this day and age. Right. So I was just thinking of something that happened last night, and I'm not quite sure I got away with saying what I'm thinking on here, so I shall keep those thoughts to myself. So here we are. I got the bottom border all done. And I'm very, very pleased. So what to tell you about it? There's a slight optical illusion going on in that the horizontal lines there look as if they've got a wee slight bend to them, caused by the wee kind of leaf coming off the edge of each one, which is an interesting effect, which I like. The last had a strange grasp of counting. Everything, ignoring that and this offending creature here, everything in between is very regular. And the count along the top here and along the bottom is very even. It's all sevens, and then up and down these up and downies here, they're all regular, and everything in the middle is fairly regular as well. Then we get to the ends, and she also decided that she needs to balance this out. So I think that one's an 8 and a 9, and then we go up quite a bit, but then hit here. And on this side, she obviously realised I've got a lot of room left that needs to match up somehow or other. So I think there was a 12 was involved somewhere along here, and then up we went. And the spacing is irregular over here in that this wee leaf here is actually touching the flower, and it doesn't here or in any of the others. But as long as I was aware of that, I was fine. That's the joy of the samplers. You do have to keep your wits about you. And there's 11 blocks here at the bottom. Up top she's got 13. So I'm looking forward very much to seeing how that actually works, because up and down is straight. So something funny is going on along at the top, which I'm aware of but haven't sat down to analyse. But it's all part of the fun of stitching these lovely pieces that these young girls did. Restitching a piece of history. So I'm very pleased with that turned out, and I think it's really nice in the 46 count. This will not be my last project in 46 count, I feel. Because I use a lamp, I had this in my Millennium frame, so it was stretched quite well. It was very easy to see the holes through the magnifier, so I was very, very pleased. Michelle, thank you for this design. It's lovely. I'm very happy with it. So that was my nod to Sample September this year. So I was quite happy to get that border all done at the bottom there. So that's now gone away for a while. It will come back out again, of course it will. But 2 weeks of stitching on it, and amongst everything else I've been stitching on, so it was time for that to go away. So that's living in one of my Hands Across the Sea bags. Nicola has the most wonderful fabric for bags. I don't know where she gets it. It's good quality, and it's quite. I don't want to use the word heavy fabric. It's nice fabric to work with. So there we go. I turned it into a bag. I even hand sewed the binding on, which is not something I would normally do. So I attached it from the sewing machine at the front and then folded it over and sewed it onto the back. I've tried using a sewing machine to stitch the binding down in the back before. It's never really been successful for me. I know people can do it, I just cannot get it to work for me, but that's fine. I don't mind doing hand sewing. Yeah, I do cross stitch. I don't mind hand sewing. Right, the other piece that has replaced that now, and let me see if I can get a picture for you on my tablet here. I should be able to. This does have internet, this tablet, it just never gets used for it as such. This tablet I'm holding in my hand here, that's really just, I use this for stitching, so it's primarily, what's the word I'm looking for? Pattern keeper full coverage stuff that goes on it. Right. Oops. A space bar is a useful thing, they say. You think I'd have this sorted out, like I said before, but it just dawned me I don't have the picture of this one somewhere. Well, I do, but I don't know where it is. Right, let's see. Oh, there we are. I'm just trying to bring up an image of it for you. Not there, I won't. Go back. There's the image button, Stuart. There we are. Aren't we good? So this is one of the seasonal angels from Lavender and Lace. And it's going to show me a picture. Right, there we go. It's not a very good picture, but I'll give you the gist. It's a well-known one. It's Angel of... Oh, happy sex, Stuart. Get yourself in gear. There we go. So you get the idea. It's Angel of Winter. It's all big dress, basically. This reminds me of the saying the ladies of Morningside in Edinburgh offer coats and nae knickers. Make what you will of that. Anyway, let's not talk about what angels might or might not be wearing. So this is on my scroll rods, which I'm just hauling over, one of my sets of scroll rods. And here's where it's... You're not going to see everything I've been working on because it's kind of scrolled up, but I think I started this in the middle some years ago and then worked up, so I'm now working down. So there we are. It's lovely. I mean, I love all the colour. I love all these blues and whites, all very wintry. But I stopped stitching for a while because I'd lost interest because there's a pile of white in it. And some time ago I'd spent a couple of years stitching the wedding from Lavender and Lace, which is all white, 99% white, or it felt like it at the time, so I really wasn't in the mood for doing more white stitching. Hang on, I've got a thread coming over for the sash there, or the ribbon coming down. So this will be getting a couple of weeks of attention, I think. We'll get some work done in that white. So I picked it up and I've started bringing this down, so I want to see if I can get down to the kind of bottom of this section here, if I can, and then I can just start working back up again. It's easier. I find that easier for me. So this has been stitched on, I think it'll be 32 count as well. I need to measure it, but I'm fairly sure it's 32 count. Which is lovely. And I love the shading and like in the ribbons that are floating around her as well. And it's very nice. I need to get some whisper. There's some whisper involved in this, the Devil's Floss, which will be a sheer joy to use, as we all know. So that I got worked on this week. I think I started that... When did I start Angel of Winter? Thursday. Is that right? No, Friday. Friday it was. And I didn't get any stitching on it yesterday because I was out last night. So I'll get some attention today. So there we are. I love how the shading for the folds. So you really see how that ribbon flows on it. Marilyn was very talented at that when she was just doing her designing. So there we are. So that'll get some more attention this week. Slight hint to plans there. We'll just set that down. Right, so there we are. That's been the whips this week. That's taken us, 37 minutes to get to this point. So, what are we doing next? A shelf of surprises. It's always a good thing. So let's see what we've got. So I'll just put my hand in the shelf and grabbed a couple of things. So, first up, we have Tiger of the Heavens. There's a kit copyrighted to John Enright. And I started watching Darren and Dizzy Stitcher. He was working in this and finished it, and I really liked it. So I managed to track it down, I think, on eBay. And bought it. I think I need to spend some more time organising the flosses. They're all in bobbins. Which are kind of higgledy-piggledy in there, so I need to do something with those at some point. So I'm stitching a dark blue fabric, and I have made a start. Now, it's such a good start. I can see 8 stitches. 8 stitches! So I've edged the fabric as well. I had some kind of plum coloured thread in my sewing machine that day, I can tell. There's my tiny star, but at least the next time I pick it up, I know exactly where I am. I quite like that in a piece, just to throw a few wee few stitches in the starting point. Then when I pick it up, I'm good. I don't need to worry if I take it somewhere. I don't need to worry about measuring it or anything. We're just good to start it. So that's where that's at. Yeah, it's a nice design. I do like it. It's one of these things. It's on the shelf. I keep forgetting I've got it. And because Darren's finished it now, it doesn't come out in his channel anymore. So it doesn't remind me that it's there to be stitched. So we've got all sorts of stuff in here as well. There's beads and sequins. And all the threads. And a chart. I'm saying that, I don't know where the chart is. It's somewhat alarming. No, there it's sitting in between the card and the picture. So we're alright. It's still stitchable. So that there's that. And then the other piece I'd completely forgotten about is a full coverage. which I have started some years ago. So this is from Charting Creations. I think it's a snippet, Nikki calls them, from it's a Christmas design. Snippet Christmas Bungalow. And this is before Pattern Keeper as well. So there we are. This is a good few years ago I bought this. It is Nikki's, it's Charting Creations. So, and I think I got this kitted up. Is it Barb at Thread Geeks? Was it? Or was that after her time? The cards look as if her. It's either that or it was Donna at Cross Stitch Heaven, which no longer exists. But that's the. Hang on, they're doing funny things there. Yeah, that's the threads for it, which are nice. And I can see I've made a wee start on this. As in my parking on the vertical. Aye. That's looking actually not bad. No, that's at the bottom somewhere. So this will be on, it's a 32 count, something. No, it's 28 count probably. And there's where I am on. Hang on. Let's just straighten this up a bit. So you can actually see what I'm showing you. As you can see, the confetti in this one is real. That's where I am on it. So it's a snow in the garden in front of the house and the light falling onto it. Given I've not done that much on it, I might start this again on gridded fabric and repurpose this piece of fabric to something else. Now that I'm reminded I have the piece. So that's that one. I don't know much of that I've done. So that just over 1,000 stitches maybe. 1,000 tiny stitches. Am I doing that 10 stitch? Is this hang on. I'll just do a wee bit of digging here. Let's see how I'm stitching this. I think I'm doing this 2 over 1/10. My experimental days. Right, so that's the two things from the shelf. I mean, that's actually quite nice. I'd forgotten about this piece, which is no surprise. So I can go back into its plastic sleeve. If I can get the thing opened. There we go. And we'll have a picture back in. So that's what it's going to look like one day. That's it. I think I might actually restart that now, given I've learned a lot more of the stitching full coverage and how I like doing it. And primarily I like doing it on gridded fabric. It makes life so much easier. So that may come out possibly in December, if I remember. And get some work then. So that's the two things from the shelf. We're actually going through, basically over the past year, you'll probably see about 95% of my stash now between whips and stuff that I've got that hasn't been started yet. So we're coming to the end of that. I'll have to have a think about how that might be replaced. We did get some haul in this week. Hang on just till I go under what you're sitting on. Have I got the card? What's that? Nope. No, I can't do it without disturbing you drastically, so I'm not going to bother. So, my haul this week was a project bag from Pauline at So Be Bag. She did a bag drop on Instagram the other week there. And I saw this fabric, I thought, I like that. I'll just be having that bag, thank you so much. There we are, nice Halloween fabric. So that arrived towards the end of last week. I think Thursday that came. So there we go. Nice zip with a bat. Nice wee detail there, a wee bat on there. The lace trim that Pauline does so well. And inside we've got just a nice plain grey, which is nice. Quite happy with that. So it's a nice bag for a Halloween project, I'm sure. Well, I know I've got some Halloween projects that can live in this quite happily. So I'm very pleased with that. And it's nice to have a bag that I haven't made. So I always like, well, one, I like to support other people in the stitching world, and two, it's nice to have a bag to use that I haven't had to sit down and stitch myself. So that came in this week. So Pauline, thank you. It's very good. Pauline's on Instagram at SoBeBags, so pop along, so give her a wee follow, and you'll get notified then from her posts about when she is going to drop some bags. So between her and the canny little fox, I'm well supplied with bags, and if I ever want to get any more, I know where to go looking, because they both drop them regularly, which is great. Talking of bags, I've been busy this week in their sewing room working on bags for the Scottish Stitching Retreat coming up in November. Usually it's the last kick I suddenly think I need to make bags. So I thought, no, Stuart, you've got a wee bit of quiet space at the moment, well, quiet-ish. Get busy, get some of them rustled out. I need to order I get paid this week, so I'll probably order more fabric this week as well. With some more Christmas and Halloween and some other interesting bits and bobs, which I will no doubt share with you. So I thought I'd bring in a couple that I've made this week just to let you see them. Any of the viewers here are going to the retreat in November. You get a wee sneaky preview. Oh, well, I've got a loose thread there. Here's my scissors. I stitched them. Carl has reviewed them. That's always an interesting experience, having Carl review the bags. I've not had to restitch it many. I think there's a couple I've agreed with them and done a wee bit of picking and restitching. This lot are alright. They passed. So first up we've got a nice glittery vinyl one, nice with a blue flowery fabric going on. It's come out not bad at all. I'm actually quite pleased with that. So these are all sized 14 by 12. We've got some nice chickadees. This is a full fabric bag. And there's just the nice cream calico inside. So there was that. And then this lovely cheerful pink floral design, which I thought was rather nice. And hopefully the ladies will as well. Or well, the attendees. I think I'm the only boy there this time. Because Gordon took himself off to America, and I don't think John's coming up to this one. So, well, not the only boy there. Our organiser, her husband comes with her as well, so it's nice to have Alan there with us. It's nice to have the support of another guy. I don't feel quite so overwhelmed, mind you. Doesn't do that. It doesn't bother me. I still remember the first time I walked in, though. The very first retreat done organised at the Westerwood in Cumbernauld, just along the road from where we are now at Castle Carey. And it was 2018. So I knew most of the people there over Facebook, over the Facebook groups. So off a set that Saturday morning, it was in early January, pitch black. So the sat nav was on. And set off from Armadale, and up I went, and along the motorway, and then down the motorway, and into Cumbernauld, and found a place. I thought, oh good, this is where we're going. And then got myself out of the car and checked in at the hotel, and then I thought, right, find the room. As I walked in to all these women, of whom I knew none in real life, but I was made to feel very welcome, and it's been an amazing journey on this with the stitching on the retreats. I absolutely love it. It's one of the highlights of my year now, twice a year in March and November going to them. And if you ever get the chance to go to a retreat, do grab it with both hands. So it can be a bit daunting the first time when you walk in, but see once you go over that part, and you suddenly realise, okay, these are like-minded people. This is my tribe. It is amazing. Love it. Can't recommend it highly enough. Right, that was a little bit of a digression there. Right, what else have we got left? Plans. So, what's Stuart going to stitch on this week? Same old, really. Temperature stitching, frost and velvet, and we'll have the Angel of Winter for a week. And we'll see what else inspires me. What else am I doing? Still making bags this week for the retreat as well. And I've got a couple of bags to make for somebody who asked me to. But primarily I'm focusing on retreat bags. What else is going on this week? The calendar's quite busy this week, one way or another. I'm got an appointment up in Falkirk tomorrow, well, Grangemouth rather, tomorrow, first thing in the morning. I've got physio for my back. Well, I'm going to see the physio for a progress update on what I've been doing and what she thinks of the result of what I've been doing on Wednesday. There's someone on Friday. What am I doing on Friday? That's annoying me now. What am I doing on Friday? I'm doing something on Friday. Oh no, I'm not. Carl is. That's why it is. Carl's getting his eyes tested in Bathgate on Friday, so I'll need to wander him along there and drop him off, and then I'll just hang around and wait for him to be done. A busy week, one way or another. I don't know where, as like I said, I don't know where the days go. They just fly past. Anyway, enough rabbiting and digressing and musings and all the other ramblings that Stuart does. Who have I watched this week? Let me think. Who have I watched? Dana. I watched Dana. I watched Darren. Jason X Stitch. I think I missed Andrew this week. I don't think I just put one up. I know because he's just been moving, he's up to his ears and probably unpacking and training because he has other things on his mind than recording a Flosstube. So, well, I'm off this week. Who else is it? Oh, Emily, Crafty Emily. So it was on Thursday. Those are the ones that spring to mind this week that I've watched. Oh, Mama Loves You GB. I caught up with Michelle. Did Michelle record last Sunday? I know I generally watch Michelle on a Sunday. Yes, I think. Yeah, I did. I'm sure I watched her last Sunday. I should really write these down in my diary of what I've watched. What else am I watching? Oh, Netflix. I'm going to Anne with an E. My God, that's a blast back to my past. I read Anne in Green Gables and Anne of Avonlea. So I quite enjoyed watching that as in the early evening before I make the tea. It's a nice, refreshing watch. They do cover all the bases of inclusivity in this one, by the way. However, I'm sure Ellen Montgomery never had all that written in her books, but it's been done very well, so I'm enjoying it very much. Right, I think that's it. So, please do get in touch with comments below. Let me know what you've been working on, what's going on. Email and Instagram is always good as well. You'll find me on Instagram on a daily basis because I generally post my temperature stitching and my frost and velvet progress when I've worked on them both. So just to keep you all appraised of what goes on there. So yeah, message me through there or with email at stuartsandstitches@gmail.com, and as I say, the comments below. Don't forget, Susan, let me know your details to get your chart, and if not, I'll redraw next Saturday and announce that next Sunday. And I think that's everything, baby. So have a good week. Happy stitching. Lots of progress. I'm going to sound like Jen now. I think I've just pinched her byline at the end. Jen the Crafty Craft. Oh, that's somebody else I watched this week, actually. So if I remember all this, I'll tag them when I'm doing filling in the description box when I upload the video. Right, I think that's everybody, and that's everything. So see you all next Sunday, people. Bye.